Hello YouTubers, I'm back. Well, my trip back east to visit, my long overdue trip back east to visit my family and friends went really well. I saw everybody I wanted to see on my list, plus a few extras. It was a wild couple of weeks. And I was going to, on this vlog, talk about the trip. But then something happened when I got back. So I got back late on a Saturday night, and I spent all day Sunday, there goes the air conditioner. I spent all day Sunday bringing the RV back to life and getting moved back into it. And then late in the day, Sunday afternoon, well, let me show you what the sky looked like. Welcome back to Arizona, Kevin. Panning from the east to the north. And out to the west, where you can see the leading edge of another one that's there. They're all moving to the southeast, so they're going to slide by. Mosquito. Great. All the rain, and we've got mosquitoes here. They don't usually show up here. Go away. Must be more than one. Look at all that lightning, though. The main cell is to the north, which is here. It's just, look at all that. So yeah, huge storm. Here's a snap off the phone of the radar, the lightning maps image of the storm cells, and it looked like they were going to slide past. Looked like they were moving south-southeast. But as the sun set, they intensified and their direction changed and they moved straight south. So that big active cell came right across the area. Once the rain started, I had about a minute to make up my mind on what to do, and I went ahead and headed for the barn again. It's a big steel building. It's got it's rated to handle over 100-mile-an-hour winds. So given the choice of the two shelters, the RV or the barn, I chose the barn. While I was in the barn and the storm was passing, the sound was so amazing that I filmed a few clips so you could hear it. Headphone warning. If you're using headphones, this is going to get loud. Here we go. Just me and a lizard hiding from the storm in the barn. Unbelievably loud. I can't even shout over the top of it. Hail. The wind switched directions. Now the rain's coming from that way, that into the building. And there's a high pitch to the sound. If you listen, it sounds like a piece of machinery running. Do you hear it? Like off to the left? It was about 20 to 25 minutes of that, and then it finally tailed off, and I went and opened the door of the barn to take a look at the lightning, because there was a lot of thunder, and I shot some video of that. And again, a warning, if you have epilepsy or you are bothered by flashing lights, look away, because there's a lot of flashing. There was a lot of lightning. Check this out. The rain's not coming in this way. It's not. Yeah. The main cell is past us now. That's what just came over. I'm not stepping any further out of the barn. You can see the edges of some of those cloud-to-cloud strikes just south of me now. Most of the action is over there around the corner, but that's where the rain's coming from, so I'm not going to take my phone over there. I need it. I rely on it. Oh, I'm starting to get rain on my hand. Time to back in. Yeah, that was something. No damage. Everything was fine. The RV was fine. No leaks, no damage. It was pretty windy. We had to pick up stuff around the property the next day. But no real damage from the storm. And the monsoon season here is just about over. Looking ahead at the forecast, next week is going to be all dry. So we might get just an occasional little rain going forward, but it's going to dry up finally, which is good. I'll be glad when the dry air is back. The humidity is driving me nuts. Back east visiting my family and friends, it was muggy. And it's muggy here now because of all the rain from the monsoon storms. So anyway, that was what greeted me when I came back. The train trip itself, I rode Amtrak across the country. And big train. It's the Amtrak passenger cars are 2 levels. Seats are on top, and then they have services at the bottom. They'll have like a luggage rack where you can put your suitcases, and they'll have in the observation car a cafe and so on. I didn't shoot very much media inside the train because the cars were pretty full. A lot of people traveling by train, and I didn't want to be that jerk going around filming, filming a bunch of people without their permission. And so I didn't shoot really much media inside the train. I can talk about it a little bit, and I might find some pictures online to supplement this. But the seats, I rode coach. It was about $211 to ride from Kingman all the way over to Indiana. Kingman, Arizona, all the way to Indiana, a little over 2,000 miles, I think. Which isn't bad in coach, but the problem is you're in a seat, and it was almost 2 days to get across the country. So I was basically sitting in a train car for almost 2 days. The coach seats, they recline pretty well, but they are a flat bottom seat. So if you're going to ride Amtrak coach, firstly, get a neck pillow. The back of the seat where your headrest is, there's a little gap there where your neck would be. There's no real neck support. So definitely get a neck pillow if you're going to be riding coach and have to sleep in the seat. Secondly, and there's really nothing you can do about this, I don't think, but the seats are flat bottomed. They don't have a cup shape. And so your keister, your backside, your gravity wants you to slide forward in the seat, and your backside kind of pulls back and bunches up, so your butt will go to sleep if you're riding it. You'll have to get up and walk around a little bit every couple hours or so. But you can do that in the train. They have an observation car that has a cafe in the bottom of it. The dining car was only open to people in the sleepers and the rooms, and that's because Amtrak is still pretty much short on personnel. They've been doing a lot of hiring, and they explained in an announcement that as they staff up and get back to a normal level of staff, that the dining car will be open to coach passengers as well. So you really only had the cafe down in the bottom of the observation car. The food was pretty good. I got to say, it was pretty good. I had the hot dog, and I had the burger, and I had the breakfast bun. And they were a little pricey. Not really all that bad. I'd spend $5 to $10 for what was basically a small meal that would fill me up. And that was all I was concerned about. I wasn't concerned about restaurant quality food on a train. I was just concerned to keeping my stomach happy for the almost 2 days that I was on the train. So it was okay. I shot a lot of media outside the window. I might be showing you some of that now. The train went across Arizona and New Mexico. Unfortunately, the Southwest Chief Line crosses those states at night. So all you see out the window is black, which is unfortunate because that was probably the most picturesque part of the journey. The eastern plains of New Mexico were flat and green. On the way out, we had a big, huge storm that slowed us down. The lightning from the storm actually had taken out the signaling and automation systems, so the train had to go slowly and it had to stop at every switch, where the engineer had to get out and manually inspect the switch and possibly manually switch the switch, because dispatch couldn't control the switches. So all the freight trains in the Amtrak lines were running on radio dispatch primarily as we went through eastern New Mexico, and it took a while. But it was really quite a storm. We kind of went around it, and I did see some of the flooding from it and from the other monsoon season storms that have been going on out here. But it was an okay ride. I enjoyed watching the geography change as we went through the plains, and then a little bit of Colorado, but the flat part of Colorado, again, not the mountain area. You could see mountains off in the distance, and it was kind of nice to look at. Once we got east of the Mississippi, it was trees and towns and trees and cities and towns and trees and towns and trees and cities and towns, and not too terribly interesting for me outside the window, but it was an okay ride. I got to Chicago at Union Station. I had to switch over. And if you are riding the trains and you find yourself at Union Station and you've got a couple hours to kill waiting on your next train, go out the Jackson Street entrance. The station is under the Fifth Third Bank building, and it's right in the middle of downtown. And if you go out the Jackson Street entrance, one of the canals is right there. The Chicago River goes through there. And there's a sitting area and a little coffee shop. And there's benches along the sidewalk along the canal or river with shade trees. And so it's a very comfortable place to just hang out. And you can look at the city skyline, as you can see from this photo I captured looking down the canal. It's really quite the view of the city. And the tour boats come up and down that canal, so that's interesting to watch. And directly across from that is the Sears Tower, or what used to be the Sears Tower. You can see it between a couple of buildings. I didn't take a picture of it. I'm sorry, but I was just pretty focused on trying to stay comfortable. Carrying the heavy bags sprung my back. So at Union Station, I was in a lot of pain trying to get from my one train to the other, and killing those 2 hours that I had to wait. So that's that. Union Station, go out the Jackson Street entrance. It's a nice area there to sit and just relax and wait for your next train. And make sure that you get down into the station at least a half an hour before boarding on your train, because you'll have to find your gate. There will probably be a line, and you need a little extra time. Sorry, I had to edit there. The humidity is really messing with me. It's got my sinuses running like a waterfall, and having a hard time keeping my throat clear. This is the most talking I've done in a while. So anyway, my trip back east, again, I didn't shoot really much media because I was spending my time visiting with people that I haven't seen in quite a while. But I had a really good time. I visited a bunch of old co-workers at Sweetwater, where I used to work. I visited old neighbors that I used to have, drove around my old neighborhoods and various areas that I used to hang out in Fort Wayne and go fishing and do stuff at. And it was a nice trip down memory lane. And then I rode the Greyhound bus across to Niles, Michigan, where I grew up, and visited my family there. And it was only $20 to ride the Greyhound from Fort Wayne, Indiana to South Bend, Indiana. And my sister picked me up there and took me up to Niles. So that wasn't too bad either. When it was time to come back, I boarded the Amtrak at the Niles train station, which is it was a really cool looking train station. I took pictures of the signboard that's posted there because it's a historic site. I'll put those pictures up on screen here, and you can pause the video if you want to read the text. It's an interesting little story. And it also mentions that Niles' train station was featured in 3 films at least that are listed on the bottom of the one signboard, and a few more than that, I think, total. It's been photographed quite a bit, and as you can see from these pictures, it's a really neat looking old building, inside and out. There's some interior shots too that I'm sure I've showed you here. So I boarded the train there in my old hometown, rode back to Union Station in Chicago, and got back on the Southwest Chief line and Amtrak going right back out here to Kingman. So yeah, it was a good trip. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I got to see everybody, and they were all happy to spend time with me, and it was fun. So now I'm back out here in the desert, and monsoon season is finally tailing down, and I've got about 3 weeks here before I head down to my quiet spot outside of Quartzsite. And I'm going to get a few things going here. Ham radio wise, Dave Slaughter contacted me to let me know that he's finally got the PC version of Ham Pie ready, so I'm going to download that and we'll do a review of that. I have a true SDX little transceiver. It's a tiny little bitty HF transceiver that's on the way. So I'll be doing a review of that and answering some of the questions that I haven't seen answered in the other videos I've looked at on it, and playing around with that little rig. So I'm looking forward to that. Got some plans for that when I get down to the Gulf Coast this winter. I'm going to do some Parks on the Air activations, and I'm going to use that for one of them. Or I'll probably use that for the CW side of it and then do sideband on the 705. We'll see. That's a ways away, a long ways away. And I got a couple of 3D printing projects I want to do, but I don't know if I can do those here because it's too hot. The heat, we've still got a week or so of high heat here, where it's going to get up around 100 Fahrenheit for a couple of days. I think that's close to 40 Celsius. So that kind of prohibits me from running the 3D printer. It's just too hot, you know, and I can run the air conditioning and have it fighting, and then the air temperature goes up and down as the air conditioning cycles, and that messes with the 3D print. So I might have to wait till I get to my quiet place to do those 2 3D printing projects that I have planned. But we'll figure out something else to do in the meantime. So that's what's going on. I'm back in the desert. I'm glad to be back in the desert. 2 weeks in the cities was enough for me. It just reaffirmed for me that I don't ever want to live in a city again. They're convenient, but noise, 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 noise. I've become quite accustomed to the peace and solace of the desert. So, next video we're going to look at Ham Pie for the PC, and that'll be coming out next week. And we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, click to subscribe. Join us on the Facebook channel for discussion about the videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please click to support me on my Patreon page.